I never used to believe in things that go bump in the night. To me, shadows were just an absence of light, nothing more. But one winter, living alone in an old apartment building, that all changed. It started subtly. A flicker in my peripheral vision, the feeling of being watched when I was certain I was alone. I'd dismiss it as my mind playing tricks, the creaks and groans of an old building settling. But then, the flickers took shape. A tall, slender silhouette, darker than any shadow, would stand at the far end of my hallway. It had no features, no face, just a void in the shape of a man. The first time I saw it clearly, my blood ran cold. I slammed my bedroom door shut and hid under the covers like a child, my heart pounding against my ribs until dawn. It became a nightly visitor. It never moved, never made a sound. It would just be there, watching. I tried everything. I left all the lights on, slept with the TV blaring, but nothing worked. The shadow was always there, a silent, menacing presence in my own home. I was barely sleeping, constantly on edge. My work suffered. My friends grew worried. I looked like a ghost to myself, pale and haunted. The feeling of dread was a physical weight, pressing down on me day and night. It felt like my apartment wasn't mine anymore. I was an intruder in its space. The fear was so intense. It was paralyzing. I'd find myself staring back at it, frozen, unable to scream or run, just locked in this terrifying standoff until it decided to fade. One evening, exhausted and desperate, I was sitting on my couch, watching the shadow materialize in its usual spot. My apartment was on a high floor, and through my window, the soft, melancholic call to prayer. The Azan began to echo from a nearby mosque. As the first words of the call drifted through the air, something incredible happened. The shadow, it wavered. It rippled like smoke in a breeze. As the Azan continued, its form started to dissipate, thinning and stretching until, with the final verse, it was completely gone. I sat there in stunned silence, the air in the room suddenly feeling lighter, cleaner. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. A wave of relief so powerful it made me dizzy washed over me. I thought maybe, just maybe, it was over. That night, I slept more soundly than I had in months. I woke up feeling refreshed, hopeful. The apartment felt normal again. The oppressive atmosphere was gone. Throughout the day, I almost convinced myself the whole thing had been a stress-induced hallucination. I cleaned, I cooked, I played music loudly. I felt like I had reclaimed my home and my sanity. The sun set, and my usual anxiety didn't surface. I felt confident, safe. As the time for the evening Azan approached, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. I opened my window slightly, wanting to hear the call that had saved me. It was a beautiful sound, a symbol of my newfound freedom. I smiled, thinking the nightmare was truly behind me. I was wrong. So terribly wrong. The Azan finished. The last note faded into the city's hum. And then the cold returned. It wasn't a gradual chill like before. It was a sudden, brutal plunge in temperature, as if a freezer door had been thrown open. He spooned around, my heart leaping into my throat. It was back, but it wasn't standing at the end of the hallway anymore. It was in the middle of the living room, only a few feet away from me. And it was different. It was bigger, its form more solid. The darkness that composed it so absolute it seemed to drink the light from the room. It wasn't just standing there anymore. It seemed to be vibrating with a palpable energy, a low hum that I could feel in my bones. It felt angry. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The air crackled with a malevolence that was suffocating. This wasn't the silent observer from before. This was a predator. Slowly, an arm, long and thin like a twisted branch, began to extend from its torso, reaching towards me. I didn't see a hand, just a pointed, inky blackness stretching across the space between us. I finally found my voice and screamed, a raw, terrified sound. I scrambled backwards, tripping over the coffee table and crashing to the floor. The shadow surged forward, not walking, but flowing across the room like spilled ink, engulfing the space where I had just been. Its form loomed over me, a towering pillar of pure night. The hum grew louder, a grating, furious noise that filled my head. I crab-walked backward, my hands scraping against the floorboards, my eyes locked on the terrifying shape. It didn't have a face, but I could feel its rage, a cold, ancient fury directed entirely at me. It felt like I had challenged it, and it had returned to show me the true extent of its power. The arm reached for me again, closer this time. I could feel the unnatural cold radiating from it, a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. My mind went blank with terror. All I could think was that this was it. This was how I would die, consumed by a shadow in my own living room. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for the touch I knew would end everything. Then a bang, not from inside the apartment, but from the hallway. My neighbor, Mr. Harrison, a burly man in his late 50s, was pounding on my door. "Everything all right in there?" I heard a scream. His muffled voice yelled. The sound of his voice, the loud, solid thud of his fist on the door. It was like a lifeline. The connection to the real world, to another human being, shattered the paralysis. The shadow hesitated. It retracted its arms slightly, its form wavering for just a second. That was all I needed. I scrambled to my feet, fumbled with the locks, and threw the door open, nearly falling into the hallway. I didn't look back. Just run. I ran down the stairs, out of the building, and into the cold night air, not stopping until the streetlights of a busy road washed over me. I never went back to that apartment. I called my landlord the next day and made up an excuse about a family emergency. I abandoned everything I owned in that place. My clothes, my furniture, my memories. None of it was worth facing that thing again. My friends helped me get back on my feet, letting me crash on their couches until I found a new place. A bright, modern apartment in a brand new building. Sometimes I still see flickers in the corner of my eye, but I tell myself it's just my trauma. Justa memory. But I never let myself be in a dark room for too long. And every time I hear the Azan, a part of me feels a deep, primal fear. It's a beautiful, peaceful sound for millions. But for me, it's a reminder of the night. A simple shadow vanished, only to return with a vengeance. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have your own experiences with the unexplained, share them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange tales. Stay safe out there.